What's up guys, my name is AJ, also known as DJ GhostNotes, and we're taking a look at Pioneer's PLX-CRSS12. Okay, so what is a digital analog hybrid turntable? Well, essentially a turntable is analog, it plays records, it sends an analog signal, and a digital controller, like we've seen with the Rain 12, runs MIDI data into a mixer. This essentially does both in one, allowing you to switch between analog vinyl, touch of a button, straight into digital. We've never really had this technology before. For someone like myself that jumps between analog vinyl and going into DVS, I now have an opportunity to be able to do that on one machine. And for me, that's pretty awesome.
Why don't you leave your name and your number, and I'll get back to you.
Makes me want to try that, jump between records, jump between Serato, have the ability to have the advantages of digital, like pitch and cue and slicer and looper, and be able to do hot cues, and then jump back into traditional vinyl. I find personally scratching on analog vinyl records about as pure and as fast as you can get, and I just prefer the feeling of that. I also prefer the feeling of records, and I don't have a lot of my records on my computer in digital format. So to have the ability to jump between two in a venue or in a club would just be amazing. Okay, so the real secret sauce to this DVS setup is actually this Magville clamp, and essentially it's just a magnet that sticks down on the record, holding it in place. Now, it might not seem like much, but this guy is doing quite a lot. It's sending DVS signals from the turntable into the mixer, letting it know where the record is, and it can actually be lightened and made heavier. Now, I found this to be pretty interesting actually, because even when I'm playing normal analog vinyl, I was using the clamp and locking it down quite a bit of weight. And the reason I did that was because it just kind of holds it steady on the turntable. And unlike counterweights that I've used in the past that put too much weight on the record and make it harder to scratch, I can actually kind of fine tune this to the point where it's still fast but held in place. And it made it really interesting. I've never had that sensation before. I don't know if it was intended to be like that, but I certainly give it the thumbs up. It's cool. My first impression was actually lifting it out of the box and feeling how heavy the weight of this thing is. And for some people that might be a deterrent, but actually I got really excited about that, because what that translates to is the fact that there's going to be very little rumble and movement within this turntable. And what it says to me is that Pioneer are really concentrating on getting this thing in venues like loud bars, clubs, big sound system arenas, and trying to isolate that movement. So from the housing of this unit, just how solid it feels, to even the tone arm, I've been told has sound isolation inside it. A decade or so ago, Vestax were doing that in their tone arms. I've not heard about that since, so it's really exciting to see that. And it kind of shows the level of detail that Pioneer are putting into this turntable. Okay, so you'll notice there's a little onboard screen here and not a whole heap of information on there, but it does let me switch between deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, and deck 4. Another piece here is the applicator, and that will go between the Record Box and Serato software. Obviously, if you're switching between DJs, that will be really handy. You can switch between different DVS software. And you've also got your digital vinyl and analog switch. It's really nice to see the pitch fader where I expect it. Reset button, as we'll come to expect on most turntables, is exactly where we want it. So I can reset straight back to 0 if I'm moving my pitch around. And tempo range. The cool thing about tempo range is I can see it's going between 8, 16, and 50. Now, people often ask, why would you need to go to 50? Well, for someone like me, I do use that. There is a set of records called Ultra Pitch, and with Ultra Pitch, they're designed to be played at a slower speed. I need a turntable that can go down to plus or minus at least 25 to be able to use Ultra Pitch records. And you can buy Ultra Pitch records at Store DJ, We can probably put a link down below to explain a bit more about ultra pitch. But that's a cool feature, and actually a lot of scratch DJs and turntablists would like that feature. Kind of blows my mind to see that we've got an analog turntable with digital integration and with that stem separation at the touch of a button. I am really excited about that technology. It's really dope to see it in this turntable. There's quite a bit of stuff you can do just in this small pocket. You can jump pretty swiftly between hot cues, between sampler. You can do instant doubles. And although I've only started having a play with it, I'm sort of enjoying where it is. I've got an S7 Pioneer. I can hot cue it from here, but it's fun to kind of hot cue in the corner as well. So I don't know, that's cool. I like that. Okay, so there's no on and off switch like you would see on a traditional 1200 Technics turntable or even the PLX-1000. So when the turntable's playing, you have different break speeds. That's the fast, medium, and slow break speeds. But what if you wanted to emulate switching a turntable off? Well, they've included a motor button, and that just allows the turntable to slowly turn off. It's such a heavy platter that it actually takes a long time, but it feels really natural, and it's important that that's there, so that's good to see too. Pioneer could have easily gone overboard when they were designing this turntable. Because it's so new and because it is an innovation in the technology that we're seeing, it would have been easy to make this a kind of unusual button pushing hybrid turntable, but they didn't do that. This turntable is still really elegant. And like I pointed out, it's the standard size of a turntable. They haven't even increased the size of it, even although they've included so much more in it. If you own a nightclub, if you rent out gear, if you are buying turntables for venues, listen up. You need to consider, or at least come in and have a look at one of these things. I would love to see this as the new standard. This is a box ticker. It's a solid turntable. It is a analog turntable with fantastic sound output. It is a digital turntable with all the functionality, Serato and Rekordbox inclusive, and it looks as good as it feels. Pioneer, as the name suggests, are pioneering in the market, and they've always been a company to kind of push technology forward from the CDJs to the Cross 12. I think Pioneer have done a fantastic job implementing the technology in these units, and I honestly think this should be the new standard across Australia. My name is DJ GhostNotes. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Peace.